قال يا قوم إني لكم نذير مبين.
And when it has finished building these houses, the bee goes out with an empty stomach, wandering in the plains and mountains, feeding on the nectar in the tops of flowers and tree leaves, and it comes back with a full stomach. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in its mouth a kind of heat which processes what it has collected and turns it into something sweet. Then it brings it forth in the houses until they are full. Then it seals them and covers the top with pure wax. When these houses are full, it goes to another place. If it finds a suitable site, and then starts to build houses in it as it did with the first house. If it gets cold, and if pastures are no longer available, and the bee cannot earn its living, it stays in its house and feeds on the stored honey. When it is earning its living, it goes out early and wanders in its pastures, and each group of bees does the work that it is designed to do. Then in the evening, they go back to their houses. The queen only goes out of the hive on rare occasions when she wants to have fresh air. So she goes out with her princess and servants and goes around in the meadows and gardens for a while. Then she goes back to her palace. One of the wonders of bees is that if someone offends the queen, whether it is another bee, the owner of the hive, or the person who is looking after the hive, she gets angry and leaves the hive and stays away from it. All the bees follow her and the hive is left empty. If their owner sees that and is afraid that the queen may take all the bees away to another place, he plays a trick to bring the queen back and make her happy. He tries to find out where he has taken the bees, or where she has taken the bees, which she can find out because all the bees are gathering around her. They never leave her, rather they gather around her until they look like a bunch of grapes. When the queen goes out in anger, she settles in a high part of a tree, and the bees fly around her and join her until they look like a ball. The owner of the bees takes a spear or a long stick and puts a bunch of fragrant vegetation on its head. Then he brings it near to where the queen is. He has with him either a kind of tambourine or a reed, or some kind of an instrument which he starts to play, and he brings those fragrant plants near to her. He continues like that until the queen bee becomes happy, and when she is happy and her anger has ceased, he jumps onto the plants, and his servants and all the other bees follow her, and their owner carries them back to the hive. Then he and his troops get down to go into the hive. Bees never feed on dead bodies, animals or food. This is what Ibn Qayyim has written. Another of the wonders of bees is that they kill corrupt and oppressive kings and never obey them. The small, perfectly formed bees are the ones which make the honey, and they try to kill the long, useless bees and expel them from the hive. If they do that, the honey will be good. They try to kill the ones that want to kill outside the hive so as to protect the hive from the contamination of dead bodies. Then there are kind of bees that are of little use, with a large body. There is always war between these and the honey makers. They try to get them to kill them and destroy their houses and get rid of them. The honey makers are very alert and careful. If they are attacked in their houses, they try to push their attackers to the door of their houses and make them fall into the honey so that they will not be able to fly. So no one can escape them except the one who has a long life. And when the war is over and everything has settled down, they go back to the ones that have been killed and throw them out of the hive. Among the bees, there are noble workers who are energetic and strive hard, and ignoble, lazy bees who are of little use and prefer not to do anything. The noble workers always try to expel these from the hive. They do not like to live with them lest the good bees follow in their footsteps and thus become corrupted. The bee is one of the most refined and cleanest of animals or of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it only defecates when flying. It dislikes rotten, putrid smells. The young virgin bees strive harder than the older ones. They sting less and make better honey. When they do sting, it is less harmful than the sting of older bees. Because the bee is one of the most useful and most blessed of insects. It was singled out to be inspired by Allah, unlike other insects. And the product of its stomach has been made a healing for sickness and a light which shines in the darkness. Hence the bee, in the relation to other animals, in the relation to other insects, in the relation to other creations, is like those who are guided in relation to the rest of mankind. The bee has more enemies than other animals, and its enemies are the least useful and least blessed of animals. This is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His creation, and He is the Almighty, the Most Wise. Contemporary scientists describe the world of bee in an amazing way. This, what I've mentioned up to now, is what Ibn Qayyim has written. Science has advanced nowadays, telling us much about the wonders of creation and the mysteries of the universe. Scientists have confirmed for us that which we already knew about bees being divided into groups: the queen bee, the male bees, and the worker bees. The queen bee is the mother of the whole hive. All the bees in the hive are her children. The queen bee lays between 1,500 to 2,000 eggs each day with the sunrise, and the number may even reach 3,500. This continues throughout the reproductive season, which starts in early spring and ends in late summer. The huge number of eggs serves to make up for the continual shortfall which happens to bees. For a bee's lifespan is short-lasting, 5 to 7 weeks. Hence, the hive needs new generation in large numbers to support the hive and to make up for the continual shortfall, so that the hive will continue to provide the necessities of the bees' world and protect the bees from enemies and danger. Otherwise, the hive would cease to exist.
قال يا قوم إني لكم نذير